So, good afternoon to all of you. Today, we are going to start our new module, that is module number 4. Till now, we have completed the 3 modules. I have given you the assignment on first 2 module, and in coming days, I will share you assignment on module number 3. This assignment you have to complete and upload on Google Classroom platform. Okay. Now, in module number 4, we are going to see the key terms such as display, AC coupling, DMM, that is digital multimeter, then BNC type connectors, cathode ray tube, CAT rating, continuity light, current analog, DC coupling, digital volt ohm milliammeter, DBOM, direct current duty cycle, digital storage oscilloscope, DSO. Then another main important terms such as what is external trigger, frequency, graphing multimeter, high impedance meter, okay. Then LED test light, logic probe, oscilloscope, over limit, that is OL, pulse strength, pulse width, root mean square, RMS, self power test, trigger level, okay, trigger slope, voltage per divisions, okay. These are the important terms that we are going to see in module number 4. Okay. Now, this chapter or this module is basically based upon the use of the test equipments. These test equipments are used for the electrical measurements, and it provides a background for measuring components in the circuit. Okay. Now here, for any particular technician, okay, the electrical signals he cannot see by his visual eyes, or he cannot touch. Okay, so it becomes very much difficult for him to analyze these signals. So there are these equipments, that is the electrical test equipments, which helps this technician to check the electrical signals, compare their magnitude, perform the analysis of these electrical signals, and this comparison helps him for diagnosing the troubles, getting the solution for the problem. Okay. Now, the first test equipment is test light. Many of you have seen this test light. कभी हमारे घर में हम एक टेस्टर यूज करते हैं, और टेस्टर हम क्या करते हैं, लाइव जो वायर है उससे साथ टच करके हम पता लगाते हैं कि वो वायर में इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल है या नहीं. ठीक है. लेकिन वो जो टेस्ट लैंप है जो हम घर में यूज करते हैं, वो हम वो हम ऑटोमोबाइल सर्किट में नहीं यूज कर सकते. इसका मेन डिफरेंस है बिकॉज दैट टेस्टर इज यूज फॉर 110 or 220 volts, but our automotive systems is powered by a battery which is having 12 volt. Okay, therefore the special type of test lamp is required in case of automobiles, and that test light has been labeled as 6 to 12 volt test light. Okay, now in this diagram I have shown you a 6 to 12 volt test light. Here the probe of this test light is connected to the bare wire in order to determine the electrical signal in the wire. The other end of the test light is connected to the ground. So if there is a current flow or there is an electrical signal, that can be sensed by this test light and it will glow. Okay, and here why there is a necessary of this ground? Because ground is necessary in order to complete this electrical circuit. If we do not connect this to the ground, this other terminal to the ground, the electrical signal will not be sensed by this test light. So it becomes very much necessary to connect the other end to the ground. Okay. Now, before using these test lamps or these test equipments, for every technician, it is much necessary to check the equipment properly before the use. If you are using the faulty equipment for the test, then you are not going to get the good results. Okay. Next is checking the continuity. Okay. Now, as I discussed earlier, the test lamp, which I have shown, can be used for determining the continuity of the circuit. We already know if there is an open circuit or there is a break in the circuit, the current flow is stopped and the device or the load is no longer operative. Therefore, to check the continuity of the circuits, the test lamp makes a very important role or has a very important role in checking the electrical signals. Now here you can see in this diagram, there is a battery. The negative terminal of this battery is connected to the ground and the positive terminal is connected to the ignition switch. Okay. Now in this diagram, you can see here, there are different loads. Okay. These loads are connected in series. Okay. If you know, if there is a series circuit, okay, and if there is a break in the series circuit, all the operation of the bulb is going to stop. Okay. Now we have to identify the position of the discontinuity in the circuit. So here we are using this test lamp. Now the test lamp is connected to the source of each load and we are obtaining that, oh, it is working. So there is a continuity between the battery and the load number 1. Now similarly, this is connected another in the second figure. In this figure you can see this test lamp is connected to the second load. Okay, so in this second load you can see the source of the electrical signal of the load number 2 is connected to the test lamp and the test lamp glows. So here we can say there is a continuity with the source. Okay. Now in the third diagram, sorry, in the third load, you can see as we touch this test lamp to the source of this load, the bulb no longer glows. So that indicates there is a discontinuity between the load number 3 and load number 2, and it is in between this. So this we are identifying by using the test lamp. Okay. Now there is another type of equipment that is we call as a self-power test light. Okay. Now this self-power test light, okay, it is also called as a continuity light. It is similar to the test lamp, but it includes one battery, and that battery is used to power the bulb. Okay. Now in this self-power light, it will glow when both the ends of the wire are connected to the test lamp. Okay. Now here you can see, here we have got the 2 wires. Okay. And we want to determine in which wire there is a electrical signal. So we can connect this clip to a particular wire. And if the light glows, we can say there is a signal in this wire. And if we connect this to the another wire in which there is no electrical signal, then the light will not glow. Okay, so this helps us, okay, that there is a, we can say, continuity in the circuit, okay, and it since is a battery operated, okay, so we don't rely on the current in the circuit or current in the wire for glowing the bulb. Now there is one another equipment that is known as a LED test light. This LED test light, you can see the diagram of this LED test light. Here you can see the nail or the probe, okay, which is connected to the ground. This is an alligator clip which is connected to the load. And in this system, this alligator clip is connected to the LED bulb. And the two ends of this LED bulb are marked as cathode and anode. The cathode is the negative terminal and the anode is the positive terminal. And in the anode, we have connected 470 ohm a resistor. Why resistor? Because the current will flow from the alligator clip to the LED, okay, and it will no longer further avoid the current flow in this system. We have connected here one resistor, okay. Suppose sometimes there is a possibility of two wires getting touch with each other. So current will not be short circuited and go in this line because here there is a resistor. Because a LED light requires only 25 milliampere of current to light. Okay, and due to this thing, this whole probe or this LED test light can be used to check the electronic circuits. Why electronic circuits? Because in electronic circuits, these are very sophisticated. Okay, to measure these electronic circuits, we required sophisticated test equipments. Okay, or we call that the high impedance test meters. And high impedance test meters are characterized by high internal resistance. This high internal resistance helps us not drawing too much current or voltage from these electronic circuits. If there is a deviation by drawing so much of current or voltage from any electronic circuit, the electronic circuit would damage. As minimum as possible, the measurand should be used for the measurement. So high impedance meters are developed nowadays in order to measure the electronic circuits. Now, this is another fascinating equipment that we call as logic probe. In this diagram, you can see this is a logic probe, and this logic probe is connected to the battery. Okay, so this will help, or this system helps us to power this logic probe. The logic probe has the two terminals. One is the probe terminal, which is used for the measurement, and another is the terminal which is connected to the ground. Okay. When a logic probe is touched to the battery voltage, the probe will light in red. Okay, so when any probe is connected to the source voltage, it will light in red color. That indicates that that is a line with the high voltage. When this probe is connected to the negative end, or we can say is connected to the ground, okay, the probe here will glow a green light. Okay, so that indicates that that is the ground, or that is the sink of the system or the electrical circuit. And this logic probe is helping us to differentiate between a source and the sink in an electrical circuit, and that is why it is termed as a logic. So this probe is termed as a logic. It differentiates between the source and the sink. Okay, and when this logic probe is connected to any changing frequency or any changing current, okay, then it will give us a pulse light. That indicates there is a change in the measurement. Okay, so this is a very nice equipment. We call that a logic probe. Then when the logic probe must be first connected to a power source, that is the vehicle battery. Then this connection helps us to power the probe and gives it a reference. Okay, that is a low, that is a ground. Most of this logic probe provides a very distinctive sound when they are connected with the high voltage or the low voltage, and that makes us troubleshooting easier by hearing that sound. And that sound is beep sound, and this sound changes as you change the voltage in the circuit. Now the changing voltage usually lights a pulse light on the logic probe, and this probe can be used for checking the components such as pickup coils, Hall effect sensors, magnetic sensors, and many other circuits. So the most common use of this logic probe is for sensing the sensors in the automobile circuits. Okay. Now next is digital multimeter. So digital multimeter, we can say, is a very common testing equipment which is utilized in the automobile circuits. Okay. Now these digital multimeter are also abbreviated or in short form called as DMM. And digital volt ohm milliammeter means it measures voltage, it measures resistance, and it measures current. It is abbreviated as DVOM. Okay, and these are called as electronic high impedance test meters, which has a very high internal resistance. Okay, and what is the value of this resistance in the digital multimeter? These digital multimeters are having a value of 10 mega ohms of internal resistance. Okay, and opposite to these digital multimeters, there are these analog meters. These analog meters, they are having their internal resistance less than 10 mega ohms, and that is why they cannot be used for measurement of the electronic circuits or the computer circuits. Okay, and that is why in our automobile circuits we are using the scan tools, we are having the electronic circuits. That is why we have to use a high impedance meters. And for the hybrid vehicles, okay, or the electric vehicles, which are having a very high voltages. Okay, in this case, we have to use a different category of multimeters which are characterized by CAT, CAT 1, CAT 2, CAT 3 ratings of these multimeters. Okay, now this is a typical diagram of a multimeter. Okay, this multimeter manufacturer is a Fluke. This Fluke is a very, we can say, a very reputed organization that produces accurate multimeters. Okay, now here you can see here there is a digital display. Okay, in this digital display, okay, there are the positions of particular value is marked at a particular here. So for here, for the digits which are displayed, the points they are displayed, they are having their own permanent positions. Okay, they will light at that point or that position only. Here we can see this is a multimeter. Okay, here it can measures this kilo ohms, hertz, micro millivolts, amperes. Okay, this record, there is option of this record, minimum, maximum, average value. Okay, it is auto, there is a beep. Okay, then there is a ground. Okay, so these are all the, we can say, the display things on the digital display. Now there is one tab that is called as a hold. This hold tab is used to hold this digital display. Any value if you get on this screen, that if you want to hold or if you want to see if it is changing that value, and we have to hold or we have to see this value for note down, then we can press this hold button. Now there is another button that is known as a range. Okay, if we click on this range button, okay, that can change the range from milli to milliammeter to ammeter, millivolts to volts. This we can say ohms to kilo ohms. Okay, so this can be done with help of this range. Okay, then this is a minimum and maximum. So this is a very nice. Why this is a very important tool? Because when we are measuring the AC signals, okay, the AC signal is in a sinusoidal form. It is having one high peak and one low peak. Okay, so we have to see what is this highest point and the lowest point. Then we can determine what is the magnitude or amplitude of this AC signal. So for this, we have to use this minimum and maximum button. Okay. Then there is a button that is known as a toggle position, means to change the position of this digit. There is a backlight. There is a beep here. There is a continuity beep. Okay. Then this one is the relative readings. This one is a frequency and duty cycle. And here you can see there is a rotary switch. From this rotary switch, you can change the values you want to measure. That is in this ammeter, that is micro ammeter or milliammeter. Then you can check the diode. You can check the resistance or the continuity of the circuits. That is, this one is small mV is the millivolts. This is used for measuring these DC circuits. Then this volts for measuring DC circuits, and this capital V, which is having a sinusoidal line at the top, is used for measurement of the AC voltage. Okay, here you can see this is used for measuring the AC current. Okay, and this one is the off position. Okay, then next is these are the connectors. Okay, for here we are having the first one is the ampere input terminal. Second one is the milliampere input terminal. Then this black is the common terminal. Okay, and sorry, this black is the voltage and resistance terminal, and this one is the common. Okay, if this common, you have to fix it. Okay, if you want to measure the voltage and measure the voltage, you have to place one terminal in this voltage and another terminal in this common, and you get the two probes. Usually the black wire is connected to the common and the red wire is connected in particular terminal whose value you have to determine. If you want to measure the value of voltage, you have to place this red wire in the voltage. If you want to measure the resistance, you have to place this red wire in this terminal. Then if you want to measure the current, that is in milliampere, you have to connect this red wire in this section. If you want to measure the current in amperes, you have to put this red wire in this terminal. So in this way, we can use a multimeter for measurement of current, voltage, and resistance. Okay, so here we can see what are the terminology. Here the AC symbol stands for alternating current or voltage. Then DC, it is the direct current or voltage. Capital V is for the volts. MV, that is for the millivolts, and it is around 1/1000 of volts. Ammeter is for the amperes, that is the current. Milliampere is the 1 divided by 1000 of ampere. This is a percentage sign. Here is a resistance. This omega symbol is for the resistance. Then this one is a K and omega. It stands for kilo ohm, that is 1000 ohms. M and omega, it stands for mega ohm, that is 1 into 10 raised to 6 ohms resistance. Then capital H and small z is for the hertz, that is 1 cycle per second, that we call it is the frequency. Then KHZ is for the kilohertz, that indicates 1000 cycles per second. It is nothing but a frequency. Then this RPM 1 is the revolutions per minute, that is counting 1 cycle per spark. RPM 2, that is revolution per minute, that is counting 2 cycles per spark. And the small ms is milliseconds, that is 1 divided by 1000 of a second for the pulse width measurement. Okay, so these are the very much important indicators. Okay, now here we can see the table of measurement types and the system components. Okay, so if you want to measure the charging systems, okay, charging system includes of a particular automobile, that is a generator or the alternator, connectors, diodes, and regulators. Then we have to measure the voltage presence and level at the generator. We have to measure the current. Okay, then we have to measure the frequency. For the generator, we have to measure these three things. For the connectors, we have to measure the voltage. We have to measure the voltage drop across the connectors. We have to measure this resistance across these connectors. Then for diodes, we have to measure the voltage drop. Then for regulators, we have to measure the voltage and we have to measure the frequency. Then in the cooling systems, we are having the connectors, fan motors, relay, and temperature switch. For measuring the voltage, for all these four things, we have to measure the voltage. Then for the voltage drop, only in case of the fan motor, we are not measuring the voltage drop, but we are measuring the current in case of these fan motors. Then the resistance across these four components we are measuring in ohms. Then there is no need of checking the frequency across these four important components of cooling systems. Now, when we are diagnosing these ignition systems for measuring the coils, connectors, contact set, MAF sensors, then magnetic pickup, MAP sensors or O2 sensors, the voltage presence and its level we have to check at each and every section of these components. The voltage drop we are only checking at the connectors. The current we are measuring at the magnetic pickup. The resistance we have to check for all the components, and the frequency we are checking at the MAP sensor. Okay. Now, in case of the starting system, the starting system includes batteries, connectors, interlocks, solenoids, and starters. So in this case, we are measuring the voltages at the batteries, at the solenoid, and at the starters. We are not measuring the voltages at the connectors or the interlocks, but we are measuring what is the voltage drop across the connectors. We are measuring what is the voltage drop at the batteries or the voltage drop at the solenoids or the starters. For measurement of current, we can measure the current at the battery source, we can measure the current at the connectors, we can measure current at interlocks, and we can measure the current at the solenoids. There is no need to measure current at the starters. Okay. Now next is the resistance. The resistance we have to measure at the interlocks. Okay. And in this starting system, there is no need to check the frequency. So all these system components can be checked by using the multimeters. Okay. So for today, we can stop over here. If anybody is having the doubt, you can interact with me now. Okay. आकाश वाके काही डाउट आहे का? Next, Ashish Bhanuse. Do you have any doubt? Then,
No, sir.
okay. Then Mr. Sheikh Rizwan. Mr. Sheikh Rizwan, do you have any doubt? Then Mr. Suraj Bankar. Do you have any
Yes, sir.
doubt? हाँ, सूरज बनकर काही डाउट आहे का तुला?
नाही sir.
Okay. So I will give you the recorded version of this lecture on your WhatsApp group. So thank you for today.